Opinions expressed on this program are those of the participants and do not reflect the views of BronxNet or the program underwriters.
BronxNet. Your voice, your views, your vision.
And hello and welcome to Open, the one and only show that opens up the Bronx and the rest of the world to you. I'm your host, Dr. Bob Lee from 107.5 WBLS, your number one source for R&B, and I'm in for Darren Jaime. Today we'll update you on what's happening in and around our community and around the world. First up, we'll bring you the latest headlines in local, national, and international news. And elected officials and local organizations have come together to present Bronx Night in Albany, and we'll find out more about that event and how you can further develop your Bronx business. After that, we'll be joined by a media agency working to improve our community and shed a positive light on the Bronx. Plus, we'll hear about a collaborative effort to make the Bronx healthier for this upcoming Bronx Week event. And finally, we'll sit down with an organization working to better the lives of our youth and increase global communication and cooperation. So stay tuned, all this and more headed your way because we are now open for business. Hello, I'm your host, Bob Lee, and I'm in for Darren Jaime. Today is Wednesday, May 15th, 2013, and of course, you are watching Open, the only live show, interactive programs, and it brings you the Bronx and New York City straight to your TV set. What a wonderful thing. Now, we want to encourage you to stay connected to us. You can find us on Twitter at BronxNet.tv and Facebook at Open BronxNet Television. Leading things off with the national news, the Justice Department launched a criminal investigation Tuesday to determine if the Internal Revenue Service, IRS, of course, politically targeted conservative groups applying for federal tax exemption status. The IRS has admitted that members of its Cincinnati office engaged in the alleged activity, but documents show that at least 3 other offices did the same thing. President Obama called the actions outrageous, and lawmakers on both sides have stated Congress will be taking action. On the international front, Russia has ordered the expulsion of an alleged American Central Intelligence Agency employee working undercover at the United States Embassy in Moscow on Tuesday. Russia's Federal Security Service identified the man as Ryan Fogel, third secretary of the political section of Washington's embassy in Moscow, was discovered with a large stash of money trying to recruit a Russian agent. Fogel was declared as a persona non grata who had to return to the United States as soon as possible. In the Bronx Borough President Ruben Diaz Jr. and State Senator Jeff Klein and they had a beautiful press conference to highlight the major economic benefits of Metro North expansion in the Bronx. Metro North proposal includes building 4 new stations in Co-op City, Hunts Point, Morris Park, and Parkchester. The project is said to create 5,400 new jobs and increase home values by more than $140,000. Those are the headlines. We have to take a break, but we'll return and we'll find out about Bronx Night in Albany. You don't want to miss it.
kitchen surfaces, utensils, and hands with soapy water. 1 in 6 Americans will get sick from food poisoning this year. Keep your family safer. Check your steps at foodsafety.gov.
I love being in classrooms like this one and learning new things. But I'm a Brooklyn girl, and I know school can be hard. It's demanding, and we kids have many distractions, lots of other things we could be doing. Sometimes even your friends may tell you that school isn't cool, that it isn't the place to be. Don't listen to them. There's nothing more important than education. It's the key to everything else. It helps us understand our world and be better people, better friends, and better citizens. So stay in school, and don't let anyone tell you that you're not good enough or smart enough. Be a star, shine brighter than anyone else, and you'll make the grade.
This has been a public service announcement of the Make the Grade Foundation. Go to makethegrade.org to learn more. Hello, and welcome back everybody to Open. I'm your host, Dr. Bob Lee. Bronx restaurants, businesses, and organizations have come together with elected officials to experience the best of the Bronx in Albany. That's right, Albany. We're going to take downtown, uptown. Here to share more about this event is Assemblyman Mark Gjonaj. We welcome you to the show. And you're a handsome young man. I know you've been in the business for a while, but you're newly elected. But you're a businessman, right?
That's correct.
Give us a little background.
Well, I don't come from the political arena. I've come from the small business world, basically in real estate. And the reason I went into politics, come from that old school of if you don't like what you see, you either roll up your sleeves and do something about it or accept it. And I chose the earlier of the two. It's about making a difference.
Yeah, and you come up with a number of initiatives, especially you have something coming up in Albany. But what is Bronx Night? Tell us about it.
It's going to be a remarkable day. It's actually a day and night. What we've done is, during my campaigning, I promised Bronxites and the members of my district that I would be bringing Albany to the borough of the Bronx. I got it wrong. We're taking the borough of the Bronx to Albany. And Bronx Night in Albany will do exactly that. Yeah. We'll be able to present the borough and it's all of the success stories and all of the positive attributes that we have as a borough with our elected officials. We're going to showcase and put ourselves in the spotlight in a positive manner for once. We need to do more about promoting this borough. No one's going to promote us. Bronxites are going to have to promote themselves. Yeah. And this is going to create the perfect venue for them to bring up that Bronx flavor to Albany and show them what we're made of.
Yeah, and as everything is marinating up there, what can people learn from this?
Well, you'd be surprised at how many Bronxites and small business owners don't even know who their elected officials are. So we've broken up Bronx Day and Night into 2 segments. Yeah. During the day, we're going to bring up small businesses and Bronxites to meet their elected officials. We're going to have an interaction with the Small Business Committee and the Economic Development Committee of both the Assembly and the Senate and address some of the issues that concern our small businesses. Our neighborhoods, which are rare to find in the rest of the city and the state, we're still made of neighborhoods, and those neighborhoods consist of commercial corridors. And for a neighborhood to be vibrant, you must have a viable commercial corridor, well balanced of local jobs and shopping opportunities for those that live here. So this will enable them to not only attend Albany and showcase their products and services and share their success, but also create a dialogue between elected officials and Bronxites. Yeah. Hear some of our concerns, questions and answers, and address some of the healthcare issues which are on the back of most small businesses' minds today.
Create the awareness of what's happening on both sides, what's on the minds of the business community, and what are the politics of it? What are the political people talking about, the elected officials?
You know, it's not surprisingly that elected officials in Albany don't really know the borough of the Bronx, aside from what they've read or heard about it. So it's going to be up to us to show them firsthand the tremendous opportunities that we have, share some of the assets from the Bronx Zoo, which is a zoo that any major city in the world would be envious of. Botanical Gardens, which is second to none. The New York Yankees, obviously, which share the stage with no one. But we also have Pelham Bay Park, 2,700 acres of parkland with a beach.
Wow.
I mean, these are things that are rare to be found near a major city in the world. And yet the borough of the Bronx has this and much, much more.
And how did you come up with this idea? What made you want to put this together?
Well, because I'm recently elected in Albany, I'm mesmerized by the whole thing. A few months ago, Brooklyn held a Brooklyn Night, and I was set back by the impact that they would come up to Albany and share the developments in the borough and present Brooklyn in a positive light. So I turned around and asked my colleagues, so what are we doing Bronx Night?
What about the Bronx?
That's right, the good old Bronx. And they said, we haven't been able to put one together.
Yeah, yeah.
So now I'm proud to announce to all Bronxites and all of my colleagues in the Assembly and the Senate that we're bringing up the borough of the Bronx on June 18th. And if you've ever tasted a cannoli, that'll be the day. I'll put up our cannoli against the Brooklyn cannoli any day of the week.
Now, this will be an ongoing thing? You're going to make this an annual?
It'll be an annual event, and we've included various foods. You know, the borough also is such a diverse borough, and it's remarkable how we embrace the diversity. The cultures, the foods, the traditions, we celebrate them, whether they be in street fairs, festivals, parades, and it's a wonderful place. I mean, I can't speak enough about the borough, so it's time that the Bronxites not only compliment each other on the attributes of this borough, but share them with others, and let Albany be a great place to start.
So we'll learn about the restaurants, the locations, and
certainly
what the types of foods are in the area.
Now we've got
Little Italy. Oh,
that's
wow!
Right.
Yes,
which now many refer to as the real Little Italy.
Yes.
Certainly, they're going to play a role in Bronx Night, bringing up their products and their services and the cheeses and the specialties in the Italian arena. We have Asian foods, we're going to have Spanish foods, Latin American foods. So it's going to be a diverse Caribbean
salivating.
Foods.
Go ahead.
I encourage you to fast the day before, because we're going to make sure that you have an opportunity to sample the borough of the Bronx.
Now, this is going to be held in the convention center up there?
At the Egg.
At the Egg.
Right.
Yes.
In Albany.
Wonderful. All right, so you have a number of things. You're newly elected. What happens after this?
Well, we've got a lot more before that. June 2nd, I'm happy to announce that we're holding a mayoral candidate forum at Christopher Columbus High School. We're inviting all of the members of my district and outside of the district to attend and get to meet their mayoral candidates. And I ask some of the hard-pressed questions.
Yes.
You know, it's not only asking the questions, but making sure that we hold them accountable to the answers that they give us. It's time for the mayoral candidates, and I'm sure many of them do recognize the importance of this borough, but it's time for them to work for their votes in this borough.
Yeah.
And I'm going to create that format for them.
There you go. All right, stepping up. And then you have a number of things. Now, this major date is June the 18th?
That's correct.
In Albany?
That's right.
And you have June 2nd you just spoke about. Is there something right after that?
Well, between June 2nd and June 18th,
yes,
we're going to continue with working hard for the district. Session will be winding down in Albany. I'll be able to focus more on the district, continue with the Joan I Cares program, outreach and providing the services that are needed by my constituents.
Right. And people can register to do this, right? Where can they go to register?
I'd encourage them to contact my office, and that's located at 1126 Pelham Parkway South, or they can call 718-409-0109. And we're preparing, we just advertised in the Daily News of the Bronx Week issue, promoting the event, and there's going to be much more promotion coming down.
Yeah, and people can follow you. I mean, you have the website and everything where people can follow you and find out exactly what you're doing and what to expect.
Well, Assemblyman Mark Jonai, you'll find all the information that you need there. There's so much to share and so much to do, and my only concern is that the day doesn't have enough hours and the week doesn't have enough days, but we're going to make it work.
There you go. Making it work in the borough of the Bronx. What does Mike Nobby say? Stay Bronx strong.
Well, I say promote Bronx pride.
There you
go. It's up to us to promote the pride that we certainly have.
Okay. Recap. Come on up, June the 18th in Albany. Downtown goes uptown.
That's right.
We're going to be at the Egg, which is called the Convention Center up there.
That's correct.
Yeah. And it's going to be from what time to what time?
Well, it's going to be a luncheon, and then we'll have the Bronx Night with entertainment. Luncheon is set to start at 2. Give people enough chance to get up there, and then we'll have the night end of it start at about 6.
There you go. Did I miss anything?
No, you didn't. You did an excellent job, and looking forward to having you up there. Maybe you'll cover the event for us.
Yeah, we're going to try to get up there. Hey, Mike, you hear that? All right. Assemblyman District 80, Mark Gjonaj, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure talking to you. Very enlightening. And we'll hope to see you very soon.
I'm looking forward to it. Just remember, it's not what you can get out of a community, but what you can put into it. This is what it's all about, making a difference.
I love it. Okay, we've got to take a quick break, but when we return, we'll hear all about the effort to strengthen the Bronx community through media. Stay right there.
Hi, I'm Bronx Borough President Ruben Diaz Jr., inviting you and your family to come celebrate Bronx Week, showcasing the very best our beautiful borough has to offer in the areas of art, culture, food, and entertainment. Bring your family, the kids, and friends. Join us in this year's Big Bronx celebration. For more information, just log on to ilovethebronx.com. Come join me. Hope to see you there.
My name's Brandon. I'm 9 years old, being alcoholic.
Hi, Brandon.
I'll start drinking with the older kids. And whatever they do, I'll do.
Kids who drink before age 15 are 5 times more likely to have alcohol problems when they're adults. So start talking before they start drinking.
I know we'll start with alcohol. I'm just not sure how it's gonna end.
How you doing?
Hi.
Hi.
Have a nice day.
You too.
Thanks.
If only child abuse were this easy to recognize. If you even suspect abuse, call 1-800-4-A-CHILD. All calls are anonymous and confidential. Trust your instincts.
How you doing? I just want regular, no sugar today.
You got it.
Thanks. Hello.
Hi.
Did you eat that whole thing today?
Yeah.
Yeah. Hi, how you doing? She's getting big, huh?
Big. Yeah, she is big. Hey, haircut.
Yeah.
Looks cute. Now let's go. Nice to see you. Thanks a lot.
If only child abuse were this easy to recognize. If you even suspect abuse, call 1-800-4-A-CHILD. All calls are anonymous and confidential. Trust your instincts.
Welcome back, everybody. You know, City Limits is it's a New York City-based nonprofit news source that segments its strengths toward the community engagement, on civic, economic, and social justice issues. And on May 16th, they're going to be relaunching their Bronx Bureau with a conversation on poverty and networking. All right, and here to share more about City Limits and their upcoming projects is Jordan Moss and City Limits Managing Editor, Jarrett Murray. And City Limits Editor-in-Chief, we welcome you guys to the show.
Thanks. Thank you.
You guys have been doing this for a little while. It's a nonprofit?
It's a nonprofit. City Limits was founded in 1976 during the city's fiscal crisis. And this was a pre-internet age, and so the purpose of it was to allow people who were fighting for their neighborhoods in the Bronx and Brooklyn and elsewhere to exchange information about that fight and to use the tools of media to extract information and accountability from government. Over the years, we realized that even beyond the fiscal crisis, there were issues that the mainstream media simply couldn't cover, and neighborhoods, particularly in outer boroughs, low-income neighborhoods, that they didn't want to cover. And City Limits has long stepped into the gap to provide investigative news coverage of public policy issues, particularly those affecting neighborhoods like those around us here in the Bronx.
Exposed.
Right, exactly. And now we've long covered the Bronx, but we're now trying to provide more in-depth, acute coverage of the borough, and so we'll be launching it tomorrow with an event at the Bronx Museum of the Arts.
Yes. And Jordan, of course, you're involved in this. Tell us why we relaunched Bronx Bureau.
Sure. It started out with the Norwood News, which was published by Mashu Preservation Corp, a non-profit group that was founded by Montefiore, and that started in 1988. The Norwood News in one community board, 7 in the Bronx. Right. Over time it grew, and we launched the Bronx News Network in 2006 because we wanted more Bronxites to be involved and to learn about our coverage, and to cover even more. There are 12 community boards in the Bronx. Only about 4 have actual newspapers in them. And
so you work with a lot of the community boards throughout the Bronx.
Yes, and now we'd like to work with more. We'd like to cover boards and neighborhoods and issues throughout the Bronx, and highlight those that exist, important ones that exist and more people see it, but to cover a lot of things that go uncovered throughout the Bronx, especially parts of the Mid and South Bronx and Southeast Bronx.
Yeah. And Jared, how do you get more organizations or community boards to get involved?
Well, we're hoping to involve them as readers and as sources and as tipsters. I mean, the idea is to create a community online for the Bronx. 1.4 million people live here. If we were our own city, we'd be one of the top 10 of the country. But we don't have a daily newspaper that covers the whole city of the Bronx. We have BronxNet. We have some resources that are very valuable, but there's a lot going on out there. And so we think that by creating a place for all those people in the Bronx, that whether it's on a community board or the precinct council or their little parks group, or just a neighborhood association, or just folks who kind of look up for what's going on in their block and their part of the world. Those are our readers. That's our community, and we think we're going to be trying over the next, weeks and months and years to engage them as readers of the news and as people who tell us what's going on.
There's a world of CBOs, community-based organizations. I mean, I'm sure they would love some sort of coverage.
Yeah, I mean, we'd love to cover issues like that aren't being done now, and we'd love to hear their side of things too. We'd love to make room for op-eds and things like that, so more people learn about that.
Especially for a lot of nonprofits, you get 30-second public service announcement or 1-minute public service announcement on TV or radio, and then looking for outlets such as yours to expose or create the awareness about their organization and what they're doing.
And the issues they work in are so complicated. That's always been one of our main focuses, is that dealing with things like poverty, housing, environmental justice, education reform in the Bronx, it's not a 200-word or 2-minute proposition. It really requires a lot of nuance and depth. And that's what we've committed to do for our readers for a long time. That's what we want to do for the Bronx. I mean, Jordan and I have lived in the borough for basically our adult lives. And when we travel outside, we often hear people, still kind of recoil when you mention the Bronx. Countering that, both countering the perception and, to the degree that it's true, countering the reality by improving the Bronx, that's sort of our driving goal.
Yeah. And in terms of improving the Bronx. We'd like to see more folks involved, like the Assemblyman said. We want folks to be more engaged and to learn more and to register to vote. So we hope to be interactive in that way, to involve and educate more people and to spread the word about things that they care about.
Is there a different way of presenting what you're doing than other organizations?
I mean, I think the way we do it is the way we select our stories. There's not any celebrity news, there's no sports news on City Limits or on the Bronx Bureau. And we tend to, use, like I said, investigative reporting tools to probe into public policy issues. So when we look at an affordable housing story, it's not simply to document what people are saying and not saying. It's to look in depth at documents and facts and financial records and try to piece together what's happening, who's responsible, separate the kind of truth from myth. That our focus is to use, we're committed to this mission of improving the Bronx, but to use it, we use really, really hard-nosed, pounding the pavement, street journalism tools. And when we put them together, we think that's a pretty powerful way to engage the public and inform them.
No, I think that's powerful.
We hope so.
Yeah.
Great, thank you.
Now, this is both on the internet and hard copy paper?
It's all internet now. We used to have a magazine, but now we're out of the business of killing trees. We're purely online. So yeah, we can find City Limits is at citylimits.org, and the Bronx Bureau will be at
BronxBureau.org. And as I think you know, the launch of that is going to be on Thursday, tomorrow night at 6 p.m. at the Bronx Museum of Arts.
Oh, wonderful.
On the concourse.
Yeah, and that's also on the website that you guys
have.
Yep,
all that information is on the website.
And what's the website?
People are welcome. It's citylimits.org.
Yes.
There's also tacklingpoverty.org.
Let's talk about tackling poverty. What can you tell us about the third installation of City Limits, which is tackling
Well, it's a series we've had for the past year. And the idea is, we've covered poverty now for 37 years at City Limits. I mean, not me personally, but the organization. And there's a cycle to it. You keep talking about it and talking about it and talking about it. The idea is to bring people who know, we know how to solve poverty in many ways. And the question is, why hasn't it happened yet? And so this series is about looking at poverty in depth, different facets of it, education, joblessness, politics, and this time the housing and homelessness issue, and talk about, really in very brass tacks terms, what do we need to do to finally address this? And so we'll be looking at homelessness, which is a particular problem not just for the whole city, where we have record numbers in the shelters, but for the Bronx, where a lot of homeless people come from the Bronx because of evictions here. And there are also a lot of subsidiary issues, like how shelters are located and where homeless people are placed in apartments, and sometimes that has the effect of driving, a low-income rent-paying tenants out. So trying to get our hands around all the different facets of this crisis as it affects people right here, and kind of talk through. We have a mayoral election on, what happens now.
And a lot of people say, well, in order to tackle a problem, you have to get to the root of the situation. What do you think that root would be?
Well, I mean, I think, there is obviously a gap, and it's a yawning gap, and it's growing, between what people, especially in the Bronx, make, the income they have, and the rent they're being charged. And that gap is something that, there's a basic math equation there that's difficult for people to deal with on their own. It's difficult for government to deal with. And that's what we're seeing here, is just this, mismatch between what people are paid or what they have and what landlords are charging. And somehow we have to figure out how to either fill that gap or close it. I think that's probably the root of the problem.
The max of rents that seem safe to most advocates is half of what you make or the income you have, and it's getting to be more than that in several ways, and that's the biggest concern.
Well, I'm glad you guys are here with this wonderful project with your citylimits.org. That's where people go, citylimits.org, and they can get a wealth of information. You guys are teaching, people are learning, and just one more thing before we go, let everybody know what you want them to know.
We want people to know that we want them to be readers, we want them to be tipsters. They know what's going on better than we do. We want to hear from them. Engage in our work, tell us when we're doing a good job and not. And really, particularly on the Bronx Bureau side, we're looking to build a community here. And if they're watching the show, that means they're our target audience, and they should be in touch.
There you go.
And one thing that I meant to add is like an example of the importance of coverage like this. So things like the Kingsbridge Armory. We covered that I did from '93 on, and brought more folks into the effort. And things didn't go well all the time. It was a long time, but now we're there. It's not because of us, but we helped nudge things along.
There you go. You bring people there.
Yeah,
Here, this is what this is. You present it to them.
That's the
right.
idea.
Exactly.
Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
Jordan Moss, City Limits Managing Editor, and Jarrett Murray, City Limits Editor-in-Chief. You guys are coming back with more information?
I hope so.
Yeah, you got to
Yeah,
continue
Cool.
giving us the information.
Great,
Thank
thank
you
you.
so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. We have to take a short break, but coming up, we'll sit down with an organization striving for a healthier Bronx.
Hi, I'm Rena Valentin, your Café con Leche, host of Open. Tune in every Friday at 10 a.m. right here on BronxNet.
Hi, I'm Sean Johnson of the 2008 U.S. Gymnastics team. I'm here with our friends from VeggieTales to say, be a player, get up and play an hour a day.
Besides gymnastics, how do you stay in great shape, Sean?
I love to dance and rollerblade.
Cool.
You don't have to be an Olympian to be a player. Just do the things you already love to do, like jump rope, ride a bike, or even play freeze tag.
Now that's something to flip for.
Well done! For fun ways to get healthy, visit www.smallstep.gov.
Hands can do incredible things. Now they can even help save a life with hands-only CPR. If you see an adult suddenly collapse, just call 911, then push hard and fast in the center of the chest until help arrives. Learn more at handsonlycpr.org.
Megan, you're a tramp. Ryan Fitch told me you guys made out. Everybody knows. He says you're the most desperate girl he knows, besides your mom. How many boyfriends does she have anyway? Lots? That zit is huge. Zit face. Ugly.
Cook foods to the right temperature using a food thermometer. 3,000 Americans will die from food poisoning this year. Keep your family safer. Check your steps at foodsafety.gov.
The Bronx Health Link works to achieve health equality by connecting providers, researchers, policymakers, and residents to each other. Here to share more is the Executive Director, Felix Urrutia. And we welcome you to the show.
Thank you.
I know you laughed a little bit when I said the last name. You're Urrutia.
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 Yes.
Okay. Well, welcome. You have a wealth of information about Bronx Health Links. Tell us about it.
Well, the Bronx Health Link has been in business in the Bronx for 15 years. In fact, this coming December, we celebrate our 15th anniversary. We were formed out of an effort to bring together the hospitals, the medical community, elected officials, policymakers.
Yeah.
But the then borough president wanted to create a link between the community and the medical community. And so we were formed to do that exactly.
And some of your goals are?
Well, the goal is really to connect community residents to providers so that they can get adequate access to services. It's also about making sure that we educate the medical community about what the residents are feeling, wanting, needing, so that there's cultural sensitivity, etc.
Yeah, because there are a lot of people out there that just don't know, and they want you to hold them by the hand and bring them to it, you know, and that's what I understand that you'd be doing.
Well, that's one of our primary purposes, is to make sure that we reach out to the community, we provide them with information about where they can go to get medical attention, but it's also about advocating that they take care of their health, that they are a partner with the medical community in making sure that they have adequate attention for their children, for themselves, for their family members.
And why is it so important to have organizations such as yours?
Well, we need organizations to advocate on behalf of those who don't advocate for themselves. You know, the Bronx is a burgeoning borough. Immigrant population is exploding in the Bronx, as we all know. It's changing every day. And so people come to this borough, to this great city of ours, needing access to services, and we are their link.
Now, what part do you play? Do you go out, you pound the pavement, you hold hands, you bring people in?
We do. We get calls all the time to go out to schools, for example. We work with public school parent coordinators to get access to the parents, to bring them information about health for themselves, for their children, etc. We also organize annual health fairs, like the one coming up this Friday at Hostos Community College.
Yes.
And so that's considered one of the borough's largest health fairs, where over 80 providers from throughout the borough come to Hostos Community College to sort of bring information, conduct screenings, connect with the community. And the Bronx Health Link organizes and connects.
Does Obamacare change anything, the way you present things, or
well,
things are happening
we
now?
are like everyone else in the health community, sort of racing to understand it as best we can, so that we can bring the information to the residents. And so we're right there with everyone else in the community trying to understand it. And we are. We're educating ourselves every day, making sure that as of October 1st, when the new health exchange is open for business, that the Bronx Health Link can make sure that we're there along with all the other providers to make sure that we connect our residents to the information that they need.
Yes. And do you partner with other organizations to make this happen?
Yeah.
Some of those organizations are?
Organizations like the Urban Health Plan, Bronx Works, Morris Heights Health Center, the hospitals, for example, serve on our board, Montefiore Medical Center, Bronx Lebanon Hospital, St. Barnabas. These are the entities that originally came together to form us. They serve on our board. They make sure that we are connecting with the residents and bringing them back information about how the residents are feeling about their services, what they need, etc.
I'm happy that there's an organization out there such as yours that will go out there and educate people as to how to navigate through the healthcare system, because a lot of people don't know, and they'll just stand back if you don't bring it to them.
Right.
But with Obamacare, you have to make a move towards something.
That's exactly right.
Yes.
And you know, there are going to be monies out there to fund what they call navigators, people navigating organizations to navigate residents to services. Our job is going to be to make sure that those navigators have access to the residents. That's what we're known for, our connection to the community, our ability to bring the community to the providers.
And what do you see in the near future regarding healthcare in the borough, the future of healthcare in this borough?
Well, I mean, what's the future of healthcare anywhere in this country? I mean, we need more access to services. The residents that are coming to us on a daily basis are confused. You know, the poverty that affects the people that we serve is enormous. And how does someone that doesn't have access to the financial resources get adequate care? I mean, that's what health equality is all about for us. That's what social justice is about.
Yes.
Irrespective of your economic status, you should be able to get the same health services of somebody who is working like myself or yourself.
Yes. Talk about health services. How do we make it equal for everybody?
Well, it's about having the hospitals, the medical community, policymakers understand that health is a right. It isn't something that's a privilege. And so we want to make sure that our policymakers understand that, that people who are involved in the economic development of this country understand that a healthy population is a prosperous, at least a prosperous nation.
Yeah.
And so that's really what we're talking about, trying to get everybody aware of their health. I mean, and a lot of it has to do with nutrition and philosophy and behavior and a bunch of other things that we talk about. But at the end of the day, if we aren't concerned about our health, what are we concerned about?
Have you reached out to the elected officials?
We do.
Are they on board with everything?
Sure. In the Bronx, well, the Bronx Health Link serves as the regional coordinating body for New York City's infant mortality reduction initiative. We've been very effective at reducing infant deaths and poor health outcomes for children, but we're not done, and we need to continue receiving funding. Right now, we're working with Councilwoman Maria Carmen de Arroyo, who's kind of our champion at the City Council as the chair of the Health and Human Services Committee, to sort of make sure that the mayor, the policymakers, the people that provide the funding understand that this infant mortality reduction initiative is vital.
Yeah. Infant mortality, the rate in the Bronx, is that the highest throughout the 5 boroughs?
Well, it's reduced citywide, but it is the highest out of the 5 boroughs, correct. Yeah. And so, you know, I hear often, everywhere I go, I hear there are 62 counties in New York State, and the Bronx ranks as 62nd in terms of health outcomes. And we're rather sick of it, and we're all trying to improve that.
Why is that, though?
A lot of environmental factors. You know, if you look at all the transportation, the highways, the industry that's in the Bronx, you know, we think that we have a disproportionate share of harmful
emissions and
sure, and
pollutants and diet and all that stuff.
A whole host of things, and so everybody's working to sort of improve that. But a lot of it has to do with people just becoming aware, waking up to the fact that if we don't take control of our health, we're going to continue to suffer.
Let's talk about the event that's going to take place at Ostos Community College.
All right, so this is the annual Community Health Education Day. The Bronx Health Link, again, has been doing it for 15 years. We do it in service to the Bronx Borough President. We do it on behalf of Bronx residents. We've been planning for months with the Bronx Borough President staff, with the staff at the Bronx Overall Economic Development Corporation, the Bronx Tourism Council, weekly meetings leading up to this event. The goal is to bring the who's who of the healthcare community to Ostos, and by the way, I want to just thank the Ostos leadership for opening up their school, their school as a health facility, you know.
Community Health Education Day.
Correct.
Yes. So how's it going to look? What are people going to learn?
Well, there's going to be 80 providers, so that means 80 tables. We're going to have health screenings, information, demonstrations. The hospitals are going to be there, the health centers are going to be there, insurance providers are going to be there. We even have some private sector banks and other organizations coming out. We've also partnered with the Police Athletic League to have a community play street, if you will, outdoors.
Oh, great.
Bronx Lebanon Hospital has also partnered with us to make sure that we have a DJ on site, but also their mobile van is coming out to make sure that their screening's right outside. So the goal is to really plant ourselves on 149th Street in Grand Concourse and bring the community into Ostos Community College.
Excellent. Are they going to close the street down out there?
No, we're not going to do that.
So most of it's going to be indoors.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. But we're going to make enough noise outside so that people, we attract.
Yeah.
We're expecting we're planning between 700 and 800 people to come to the doors. It starts at 11 a.m., goes up until 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So we invite everyone in the Bronx, if you're available on Friday, May 17th, come on out.
Yeah, I mean, it's a wonderful place, all under one roof, to learn all about the healthcare system and what you can do to get and get a good healthcare plan, I guess, for yourself too.
Well, it's really to get connected to what's happening in the borough around health. Lots of fun giveaways. That's always an enticement for people. And so we're looking forward to it.
Food is another one.
Food, healthy foods, healthy foods.
Healthy foods, healthy eating, healthy living.
Absolutely.
Big health fair. You get a lot of screenings.
Sure. Yeah. Standard stuff that we do every year. Residents come out and they get a checkup. Come on out and get tested for HIV/AIDS privately. Check your blood pressure, things like that.
Felix Urrutia.
Urrutia.
I got it.
Yes, you did.
Hey, nice meeting you, man.
Executive
Director of the Bronx Health Link. Thank you. Go to bronxlink.org.
That's right.
bronxlink.org. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, we have to take a quick break, but when we return, we'll find out about a program to advance our youth. Stay tuned.
Okay. Oh, it must be kid. Well, that's a nice picture.
Come on, Anna.
Okay.
Foreclosure doesn't affect just you. It affects your whole family, too. If you've fallen behind on your mortgage, we can help. Call 1-888-995-HOPE because nothing is worse than doing nothing.
You know, when I was younger, man, my brother was the one who really took care of me, man.
Is that right?
Hey, he'd wake me up in the morning, get me ready for school, take a shower, make me some breakfast.
Where your brother at now?
Oh, he know. Iraq. I get lonely, nobody to talk to. Felt like quitting school. He looked at my dad in my eye, he told me, if not for me, do it for him.
Give Josh and our class of 08 the boost they need to graduate. Join us at boostup.org.
One World United and virtuous providers, after school clubs that work to build a better future for students, are joining us today to share more about the organization. And the first chapter in the Bronx is the founder, Joe Carvin, and executive director, Jack Zakara. Welcome you guys to the show.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for having us.
You guys are doing some wonderful works at one of the schools, PSMS
95.
Yes.
Right.
We switched it around like we did in the beginning.
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
Tell us about some of the wonderful things that you're doing.
Well, ultimately, we're teaching a character education course with a global perspective. We want the students to understand that they can make a positive contribution to their community, real catalyst for change. It's important that they do it for their school community, for the Bronx community, as we've been hearing today, but most importantly, or just as importantly, for the global community. What happens in the Bronx reverberates across the globe. I can tell you that having lived on 5 different continents.
Yes. And global community spells, of course, one world.
Exactly.
Tell us about it.
Sure. We actually started 4 years ago with one after-school club, and that first year, the Haitian earthquake happened, and our teacher, working with 4th graders, came in the door and had her whole club waiting for her the following morning. Some of the poorest kids in our community waiting for her to say, Mrs. Zakara, there was an earthquake in Haiti. What are we going to do about it? So it's really about empowering young people not only to feel connected to all of humanity, but also to know that they can make a difference, that what they do or don't do matters. Yeah. And then finally, there is the character education component as well. So we want our kids to understand that character doesn't just matter, but maybe character matters most.
Character matters most. That's most important.
Right. Yeah. So it's global education, and yet it's character education at the same time. And
This is our first school in the Bronx, PSMS 95, and we are giving it away. We offer this free to any school who is interested. And so we'd like to see it sweep across the Bronx and then to the rest of the schools in New York City as well.
Let the Department of Education and all the schools, all the wonderful people, parents, teachers watching, let them know exactly what you're giving away.
Right. So we have a curriculum. We work with grades 4, grades 5 in middle school, but this summer we're also writing a curriculum for high school and college clubs as well. So pretty much starting grade 4 up, you can start a One World Club in your school or even in your community organization. We have an after-school center that has started a One World Club as well.
One of the foundational principles is service learning.
Service learning.
Right. So basically what we do, we provide a framework with the character education, but we want them to understand that they're positive change agents, real entrepreneurs. So what happened in PSM 95 this year is they went out and raised $198 on their own and gave it to the Montefiore Hospital. And they did it by selling Hershey Kisses. So basically, the global peace starts with a kiss.
Wow.
And they've written to Hershey Kiss asking them to match the $198 donation. So the kids really...
They couldn't refuse that.
They couldn't refuse that.
No.
Well, hopefully, we're still waiting to hear.
Hershey, if you're
listening, then exactly. We're very hopeful that they do match the donation.
We're selling kisses. What a wonderful brand. I mean, they're branding your product there.
Right, and it wasn't us. This came from the kids. This came from the students.
Yeah.
We hopefully have great teachers who do great things and inspire kids to just make that kind of difference. Our kids have contributed to relief at Japan after the tsunami. One of our clubs in Portchester has adopted a young man in Gambia and literally has raised enough money that matches the family income for a year.
And if I could just add, Bob, it has a positive impact on the school. So a number of the kids, for example, in PS 95 this year, who weren't coming to school, we found they were coming on Wednesdays.
They found a reason to come to school.
They
other
found a
than
reason
just
to come to
get an
school.
education.
Exactly
I mean,
right.
something that excited them, that
Absolutely
gave them
right.
interest.
Exactly, and because I am surprised. I'm the founder, Jack's the teacher. I'm surprised at how powerful it's been. And when you create that human connection, it just brings out something that's very special.
The identification technique, I mean, something that they can identify with.
Exactly.
You know? And when you empower somebody to help others get what they need out of life, they step up to the plate.
Right.
Exactly.
So Hershey's, let's go.
That's right. Among others, let's go. Among others, right? So we help create a safe space not only within the club, but now that affects the school climate.
Yes.
Right. So now we begin to work on things like name calling and bullying, and we move kids.
I have the chills. Keep going.
We move kids from being bystanders to being allies, and ask them to step up and to play a role in, again, I can be a positive agent for change. I can make a difference.
So this goes far beyond current events.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Worldwide.
We use current events as teachable moments.
Yes.
We do some geography work in there. We do a lot of current events work in there. We do readings.
But Bob, you're absolutely right, because what we're trying to do is prepare them for the 21st century.
Yes.
What people don't understand is we're connected in a way we've never been. If Google's new founder has a book out, we're going to go from 2 billion people with access to the internet to 7 billion. So we now have the capacity to talk to everybody across the globe. We want to link our Bronx clubs with people in Mexico, Brazil, Argentina, Egypt. We want to bring the kids together and create a new generation of leaders. Yeah. Civic-minded leaders are going to solve the problems in the world. So we're not just going past current events. We're trying to provide the solutions that humanity needs.
I like it. You know, sometimes, all too often, you know, our kids, we live in this microcosm, and they think that this is all that's in it for them. This is it.
Yeah.
But there's a whole world out there.
Absolutely.
Now, do you do trips where they can see those other parts of the world?
We've just finished our first stage of the pilot program. Eventually, that's the goal. We have a year-end project where we
see it, feel it, taste it,
absolutely
smell
right. Exactly right.
We're having an event June 1st in Rye Town where all the clubs are coming together to present to their parents and to talk about what the club is meant to them.
My eyes are open wide. That's very good. Very good.
So it's been a great experience for us.
And we love to take it across the Bronx, as you say. We provide it to the schools for free. All they need to do is provide a teacher and interested students, and we give it for free.
And I'm afraid to ask, well, where do you take it next? I mean, because I know the answer to it.
Next is high school and college level, and those will be more like discussion group. camps, but also service learning.
But across the globe.
Across the globe.
No, so we're serious because
Right.
yes. we're talking to clubs in Mexico right now, Brazil, Israel, Egypt,
China,
Dominican Republic, and China, and because the technology facilitates. So Jack's developed a curriculum for video linkages, where we can get the kids talking to the kids in Egypt, get the kids talking to the Dominican Republic. And the other thing is, of course, our diversity here is a huge strength. Portchester, where we also are very strong, the schools are 90% Latino. I speak fluent Spanish and Portuguese. I can't wait to have these kids talking across Latin America.
Yeah, they'll learn different languages.
Yeah, they're going to grow up and enter the most diverse workforce in the history of the world, right?
And with technology, it will translate for you also.
Exactly right. So we talk about head to heart to hands, right? Do they have the knowledge? Do they have the empathy? Do they have the character skills? And do they have the real-life communication skills and conflict resolution skills to navigate that world? That's where we're going.
Great. We applaud you. I know everybody behind me is going like this. Yay.
Contact us and let us know.
Yeah, our website is www.oneworlduv.org.
Oneworlduv.org.
Or just Google One World United and Virtuous. If you Google One World United and Virtuous, you go to our website.
There you go. Joe Carvin, founder, One World United and Virtuous, and Jack Zakara, Executive Director, One World United and Virtuous. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
OneWorldUV.com.
Or
Go there,
.org.
check it out. Or .org. Either one.
Right.
Either
There you
one.
go.
Got them both. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you, Bob. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Sit tight
Appreciate it,
for a
Bob.
second. It's
Great.
been a pleasure coming into your homes, and I'd like to thank our guests for joining us, and for you, our viewers, for tuning in and checking it all out. Have you missed any part of today's show, you can catch it on the Recablecast at 10 p.m. that is, on Cablevision Channel 67 and Fios 33, or you can watch anytime on the web. And have a great week, and always remember this: what you are is God's gift to you, and what you make of yourself is your gift to God. So choose your choice, and let the choice control the chooser. Thank you very much, Darren Jaime. You can catch him next time. I'm filling in for him. And you can catch me also right after the Quiet Storm tonight with Lenny Green. I'm Dr. Bob Lee from all of us here at BronxNet. Have a great and enjoyable day. We love you all.